You are born in a private hospital in Culiacan. Your father rents the entire floor. There are 12 armed men in the hallway. The doctor who delivers you earns more from that birth than in 6 months of normal work. Your first cry is drowned out by the sound of champagne bottles being uncorked. You are 3 days old and there is already a corrido with your name. You did not choose this, but this chose you. Your childhood is strange. You live on a ranch that looks like a town. It has a chapel, a soccer field, a racetrack, even a small zoo with a Bengal tiger your father bought, because it looked badass. You have everything a child could wish for, except freedom. You cannot go to a normal school. You have private tutors who come to the ranch. You do not play with kids your age. You play with the children of your father's lieutenants, kids who are afraid of you because they know who you are. Your first real memory is of the men. There are always men. Men with radios, men with guns, men who stand up when your father enters a room, men who call you young boss when you are 6 years old. Your father is affectionate with you, but distant. He is always busy. There are always meetings. There are always phone calls. When he spends time with you, he is generous and attentive. But there is a part of him you never get to know. The part that makes those men look at him with that mix of loyalty and terror. At 8 years old, you ask what your father does. Your mother, a beautiful woman who wears only designer clothes and never goes out without perfect makeup, tells you he is a businessman, that he has import and export businesses. You believe her because you want to believe her, but you have already seen things. You have seen men arrive with suitcases that they check in private. You have heard code words you do not understand, but that you feel you should not repeat. Your education is contradictory. On one hand, your father insists that you study. You have to be smarter than me, he tells you. I had to learn on the streets. You are going to learn from books. You have access to the best tutors. You learn English fluently. They teach you advanced math, history, literature. On the other hand, you also learn lessons that do not come from books. You learn to never fully trust anyone. You learn that power is not asked for. It is taken. You learn that loyalty is bought and betrayal is punished. At 12 years old, your father takes you to your first real meeting. It is at one of his ranches in the mountains. You arrive by helicopter. There are 30 men waiting. They all stand when you arrive. Your father introduces you. This is my son. One day he will be sitting where I am. Respect him the way you respect me. The men nod. You barely understand what is happening, but you feel the weight of their stares. In that moment, you stop being a child. You become the son. You meet the accountant. Around that same time. He is a man in his 40s, thin, nervous, who wears glasses and always carries a laptop. Your father treats him with a strange kind of respect. It is not the respect he has for the hitmen. It is different. This man is worth more than 20 commanders, your father explains to you afterward. The ones who shoot are important. But the one who knows where the money is and how to move it without anyone noticing, that one is irreplaceable. The accountant explains his work to you once, simplifying it so you can understand. Imagine your father sells lemonade, he says, but he cannot tell the government he sells lemonade because they would ask questions. So I create restaurants on paper, gas stations that only exist in documents, stores that never open. And I make it look like all the lemonade money comes from those businesses. The government sees the paperwork and everything looks legal. You ask if that is not cheating. He smiles sadly. It is cheating, but it is cheating that keeps a lot of people alive, including me. Your adolescence is a constant clash between two worlds. You spend stretches in San Diego with your mother, living like a normal rich kid. You go to malls, to concerts, to parties. Nobody knows who you are. You can be almost normal. Then you go back to Sinaloa and remember that normal will never be an option for you. You return to the ranch, to the armored trucks, to the armed men, to the reality of what your last name means. At 15, you have your first Rolex. At 16, your first car. A Mercedes G-Wagon that costs more than an average house. Your father gives it to you on your birthday, along with a Glock 19. The car is so you can enjoy yourself, he says. The gun is so you can survive. You learn to shoot at a private firing range. You are good, better than good. But every time you hold the weapon, you think about what you really need it for. It is not for sport. You start to understand the business for real. Your father no longer hides anything from you. However, he explains the structure. At the top is him, the boss. Below are the lieutenants who control territories. Each territory has cells that move product. But the real power, the one that keeps everything running, lies in three key positions. The head of the hitmen, the one who controls the routes, and the accountant. Without the first, you cannot defend your territory. Without the second, you cannot move the merchandise. Without the third, the money has no value because you cannot use it, he explains. You observe how the financial operation works. The accountant has a team now. 5 people who work in a discreet office in Monterey. They look like normal employees of an accounting firm. And technically, that is what they are. But their real job is to turn millions in cash into legitimate assets. They buy casinos, gas stations, restaurants. They create export and import companies. They move money through 15 countries before it comes back to Mexico. It is a financial ballet so complex that even the tax authority gets confused. Your father teaches you about respect and fear. Respect is earned by being fair and generous. Fear is earned by being ruthless when necessary. You need both. Only respect, and they see you as weak. Only fear, and they betray you as soon as they can. You see examples of both. You see your father help entire communities, build schools, pay for funerals, give away trucks at Christmas. You also see what happens when someone betrays him. You do not see the details, but you see the results. People who disappear. Families who flee in the night. Messages that are sent without words. At 18, your father sends you to study business administration at a private university in Monterey. It is your official cover. Officially, you're a normal student from a wealthy family. You have classmates, you go to parties, you even have a girlfriend who believes your family is in the avocado business. But there are always 2 discreet bodyguards 50 meters away. Your truck is armored even though it does not look like it. You change your route every day. You never stay in the same house for more than 2 weeks. You learn that being the son is living in paradox. You have all the money you could want, but you cannot enjoy it freely. You are respected and feared, but you cannot have real friends. You have power, but not freedom. You can buy anything, except anonymity. You can go wherever you want, except where you really want to go, a normal life. Your father starts including you in important meetings. You meet the Colombian partners, elegant and educated, who talk about tons as if they were stocks on the exchange. You meet the American distributors, nervous and pragmatic, who just want their product on time. You watch as the accountant presents financial reports on PowerPoint as if it were a legitimate corporate meeting. There are growth charts, cost analyses, profit projections. The only difference is that the product in question is illegal, and the losses are not measured in money, but in lives. You begin to participate in the financial side of the business. The accountant teaches you the basics of laundering. He explains to you about shell companies, smurfing, fictitious loans between offshore companies. Your father moves product, he tells you, but I move the money that product generates. And honestly, moving the money is harder than moving the drugs. The drugs you hide in trucks. The money has to look legitimate in front of governments that have increasingly smarter computers. You learn about the layers of protection. The accountant never works directly with those who move drugs. There are 3 layers of separation. He receives the cash from intermediaries who receive it from other intermediaries. If the police catch someone, it is almost impossible to connect them directly to the real operations. It is like an onion, he explains. Each layer protects the next. And at the center of that onion are you, your father, you, and the accountant. You see the stress the accountant lives under. He is 38 years old but looks 50. I think he does not sleep well. He takes anxiety pills. He drinks too much. Once you find him in his office at 3 in the morning, reviewing bank transactions for the 10th time. A 10,000 peso mistake can cost me my life, he tells you. So I check everything 3 times, then I check it 2 more times. You understand that his value is also his sentence. He knows too much to be let go. He is too important to be risked. He lives in a golden cage that he himself built. Your role in the organization begins to take shape. You are not a hitman. Your father is clear. You do not get your hands dirty. That is for others. You are not a field operator either. You represent the family. That means you are above daily operations. Your function is to be the visible heir. You attend meetings as an observer. Your presence is a reminder of continuity. When I am gone, your father says, you are the guarantee that things stay the same. But reality is more complex. There are internal tensions, lieutenants who have more experience and believe they deserve the power more than you, men who have been in the business since before you were born and who see you as a privileged kid. Your father manages these tensions with mastery. He gives you small but visible responsibilities. You oversee a route, you approve a payment, always with the guidance of men loyal to your father, but always with you being the one who gives the final order. You learn the language of the business, and you do not say drugs, you say product or merchandise. You do not say kill, you say heat up the plaza or solve a problem. You do not say bribe, you say investment in public relations. The accountant is a master at this. He has an entire corporate vocabulary for criminal activities. The hitmen are security personnel. The drug trafficking routes are distribution chains. The offshore accounts are international investment vehicles. At 20 years old, you have already seen too much. You have been in meetings where the fate of people was decided. You have seen the before and after of betrayals. You have not pulled triggers, but your decisions have had lethal consequences. You start drinking to fall asleep, first beer, then whiskey. Your father notices. Be careful with that, he warns you. In this business, you cannot have weaknesses. Alcohol is a weakness that others can exploit. You meet the daughter of another important cartel boss. She is beautiful, educated in Switzerland, speaks 4 languages. Your families arrange an introduction. It is not exactly an arranged marriage, but it is not casual either. It is an alliance. She understands the business because she grew up in it, just like you. Her father controls territory in Jalisco. Your father controls Sinaloa. A union between families means peace, shared roots, consolidated power. You date her for a year. She is intelligent and understands your world because it is her world too. But romance is complicated when both of you are watched 24/7 and every date is a security event. The accountant explains the evolution of laundering to you. Before it was easy, he says. You showed up with suitcases full of cash at the bank and nobody asked questions. Then anti-laundering laws came and we had to get creative. Now with artificial intelligence and international cooperation, we have to be artists. He shows you operations that involve cryptocurrencies, NFTs, fake tech startups. We buy Bitcoin with cash in Venezuela. We transfer it to wallets in Singapore. We sell it in Europe. The money comes back as an investment in a Mexican software company that basically does nothing except exist on paper. You see the infrastructure behind the empire. It is not just armed men. There are lawyers, accountants, corrupt bankers, politicians on the payroll, police officers who tip off about operations. Your father has an invisible army of people in legitimate positions who make the illegitimate possible. The mayor of a small town who earns 30,000 pesos a month receives 50,000 more to not see certain trucks. The customs officer who earns 15,000 pesos receives 100,000 to have problems with his inspection system right when a certain container passes through. Your education continues. Your father teaches you about loyalty. Never trust anyone 100%, not your best friend, not your brother. Trusting is necessary, but blind trust is suicidal. He teaches you about calculated generosity. Be generous with your people, pay well, help their families, but let them know that generosity comes with expectations. Loyalty is bought, but it is also maintained through results. At 22, the inevitable happens. There is a major operation. The DEA, the Navy, the American government pushing hard. They catch two important lieutenants. They freeze accounts. They seize properties. It is the hardest blow the organization has taken in years. Your father calls an emergency meeting. All the bosses are there. The accountant arrives pale. "We lost access to $50 million in 3 different banks," he reports. "We have another $200 million safe, but we need to move it fast." It is your first real crisis. You see your father under pressure. He is still the same calm man, but there is a tension in his eyes. He makes quick decisions. "Move everything you can to Panama in 48 hours, he tells the accountant. "Shut down the northern routes temporarily. We activate the maritime routes through Guerrero." Then he looks at you. "You are going to Guadalajara with your mother until this calms down. It is not negotiable." For the first time, you understand that your father is not only protecting you from danger, he is protecting you from the business. If they catch him, he needs you to be clean. You spend 3 months in Guadalajara. It is torture. You want to be there, at the center of the action. But you also understand the logic. If your father and the main bosses fall, someone has to remain on the outside to rebuild. That someone is you. During those months, the accountant keeps you informed discreetly. He sends you encrypted reports. He explains how he is moving money through new routes, how he is using decentralized crypto exchanges, how he is buying physical gold in Dubai and storing it in Swiss vaults. The crisis passes. Your father is too smart, too connected. The captured lieutenants do not talk because they know their families are being taken care of financially and because they know what happens if they talk. The frozen accounts were important but not vital. The accountant had diversified so much that losing $50 million hurt, but did not paralyze anything. "This is why we have money in 15 different countries," he explains, "so that a single blow is never fatal." You return to the business with a new understanding. You are no longer just the observing son. You are the active heir. Your father starts delegating real decisions to you. You approve large payments. You resolve disputes between cells. You represent the family in meetings with other cartels. There is always someone older and more experienced advising you, but the final decision is yours. And everyone knows your decision is final because you carry the last name. The accountant becomes your most important ally. You understand what your father was saying? The hitmen come and go. The distributors are replaceable. But the accountant is unique. He knows where every peso is. He knows every offshore structure. He can move millions with a few keystrokes. "If something happens to me," your father tells you one day, "the first thing you do is protect the accountant. Before territories, before roots. You protect the one who knows where the money is. Without money, there is no organization." You learn about the cartel's economy on a macro scale. The accountant shows you numbers that surprise you. The organization generates approximately $3 billion a year in gross revenue. After production costs, transportation, bribes, and security, around $800 million in net profits remain. Of that, $400 million are successfully laundered and converted into legitimate assets. The rest stays as cash, hidden in warehouses, buried on ranches, waiting its turn to be cleaned. "The problem is not generating money," the accountant explains. "The problem is what to do with it. We have so much cash that it literally rots in some warehouses because of the humidity. We lose millions to physical deterioration of paper currency. It sounds ridiculous, but it is real. That is why we need to launder constantly. Cash that cannot be used is dead money. Your life is surreal." Ernam, you are 23 years old. Officially, you are a young businessman in the real estate business. You have offices, employees, legitimate projects that actually build things. But the reality is that those businesses are just part of the laundering system the accountant designed. You build residential developments using dirty money. You sell them to real buyers at fair prices. The money you receive is already clean. It is a perfect cycle. But behind the legitimate facade is your real life. Secret meetings, decisions that affect thousands of people, delicate alliances with other cartels, silent wars over territories. You are like the chief executive officer of a multinational corporation. Except your corporation traffics drugs and your competitors do not sue you. They kill you. You start to question everything. Late at night, alone in your luxury apartment in Polanco, you wonder who you would be if you had been born into another family. If your father were a doctor, a teacher, a normal merchant, you wonder if you would even have the option to leave if you wanted to. The answer is obvious. No. You were born into this, and you will die in this. Your last name is your identity, your power, and your prison. The accountant shares your existential despair. One night, after too many drinks, he confesses to you, "You know what the saddest thing is? I am brilliant. Truly brilliant. I could have been CFO of a Fortune 500 company. I could have taught at universities. Instead, I use my talent to help move cocaine across the border, and I cannot even leave because I know too much." You watch your father age. He is 52 years old but looks 65. The stress, the constant paranoia, the permanent threats. He has survived 4 assassination attempts. He has watched most of his childhood friends die. He is still powerful. But the price of power is written in the wrinkles on his face and in the way he checks every room before entering. You realize that this is your future. Maybe you have 10, 15, 20 more years of power. Then, if you are lucky, you retire before they kill you. If you are not lucky, you end up dead or in a maximum security prison. There are no happy endings in this business. There are only less worse endings. And the least worst ending is living long enough to see your own son enter the business, perpetuating the cycle. The accountant works on a contingency plan for you. If everything collapses, he tells you, you have these 5 accounts in Switzerland, and these 3 in Singapore, these 4 properties in Spain that are under the names of companies no one can trace back to you. You have approximately $75 million accessible within 24 hours. It is your life insurance. But you both know that money is not really the problem. The problem is that you are known. Your face has appeared in intelligence reports from 3 countries. International agencies know who you are. You cannot simply disappear on a beach in Thailand. Wherever you go, your last name follows you. So you keep going. Every day is a performance. You smile in meetings. You make decisions. You maintain the image of a confident and capable heir. But inside, a part of you died a long time ago. The part that dreamed of being different. The part that wanted a normal life. That part is buried alongside all the illusions of your childhood. You are the son of the cartel boss. You were born in a palace that is also a prison. You have everything except freedom. You are feared and respected, but never truly known. You live surrounded by people but completely alone. And every day you survive is simply one more day in a sentence that began the day you were born and will end the day you die. This is your truth. You are the heir to an empire built on suffering. You are a prisoner of a last name that is worth millions but costs everything. And the darkest part is that you no longer even know if you want to escape, because this is the only thing you know. This is your world. And in this twisted world, you are the prince of a kingdom no one would want to inherit.